on, remove the tomato, and we are all set to go. That's right. I just got back from running. You guilted me into it. No, not you, me. I just heard from one of my neighbors. I'm out there running. I ran yesterday. He ran again today. He saw me yesterday. He was on his bicycle today. Oh, if you see this, you'll know it's you. But anyhow, his comment was, "You guilted me into it." And I'm like, "What? What did I do? I did nothing. I'm been out here slogging around. I got a 2 mile run I've been doing, trying to do it every day. Got to get back into that whole thing, you know. Gotta look the part and all the rest of that stuff. Feel good, mental health. Throwing it to any one of a million and one different categories. But I never imagined he was going to say, "Yeah, guilted me into it." It kind of made me think about today's little video. You guilted me into it. I did it because he said so. I'm gonna let that sink in as I drink a cup of coffee over here. All right, now let's see how well I feel about going fully into this one here today. But what do we got behind us here? We got Toastmasters, public speaking. Let's see. When you're a public speaker, do you guilt people into things? Communication skills, pretty darn important. What about this? The white book over there. It's called Bondi's Brother. That's about two brothers that were in a concentration camp during World War II. Guilted me into it. Well, they helped each other quite a bit. And that's a positive side of survival as that goes. But I wonder if that word could have been used in there, guilted me into wanting to survive. And that other book there about brand renegades. Brand renegade brand. Well, yeah, but every time you speak, every time you do anything, anytime people see you, that is your brand. So everything we do means something, and it means something to somebody else, regardless of whether or not you mean for it to mean something to them or not. It doesn't matter. Everything that you do, everything you do. Hey, we come in here, barely, I didn't even comb my hair. Let's not kid ourselves. In fact, still actually perspiring from the run. Drink coffee. My logic here is if I put hot liquid in me, it kind of balances out the body temperature. I don't know if that's true or not, but whatever. It's my nutty way of thinking of it. Now, all of a sudden, that just might have impacted you, didn't it? It's like, yeah, man, that guy's a moron. Or, I wonder about the logic there. Or maybe there's a scientist in there someplace thinking, yeah, there's logic or no logic to it. I really have no idea. I have no idea. No idea. But I always did that. Whenever I finished a run, these half marathons or whatever, I went for a cup of coffee. I don't know why. I just went for a cup of coffee. Somebody must have told me that someplace, but drinking a glass of cold water, I don't know. Just kind of felt that was too much of a shock to the system there, the rest of that stuff. And don't know. I never went for the beer. Never went for the. Hey, maybe I am kind of stupid in that respect. Maybe I should have gone for the beer. Maybe I should have gone for a couple of beers since, you know what? Forget this running stuff. Let's just go right for the beer. Make it that way. But you see, the point is that everything that we do, don't do, how we carry ourselves, how we communicate, how we don't communicate, how we dress, how we don't dress, what we watch, what we don't watch, what we tell people we watch, what we don't tell anybody else about, what we listen into, anything like that, all of it has an impact on other people. I've spoken to a number of folks in their 20s, early 30s, and the question I had to them was, where do you get your news from? And I was not looking for them to say one way or the other how they felt politically or anything like that. I was just curious, more from that brand standpoint, where do they get the news from? What is it that they watch? Do they actually see commercials? Really? Do you actually see commercials? I watch these videos at night, so YouTube movies. And as soon as a commercial comes on, boom, skip this ad, unless it's paid, then you can't skip it. but skip this ad. So how many commercials do I watch nowadays? A lot less. A lot less than watching regular TV. Then it's there. You can't skip through it. You can DVR. I don't go through that whole process. Not just a tape and then skip and all the rest of that kind of gibberish. You know, but just kind of curious because I think that's a big impact too. It's like, okay, so if you're in the branding business, marketing business, you have a business, how do you reach your clientele? It all depends upon what they do, and that kind of thing. And that's where it becomes so important to go figure out other people's lifestyles, the rest of that stuff, just from a marketing standpoint. Staying on topic here. Everything that you do or don't do affects somebody else. He got on the bicycle today. Was it because of me? No. It's not like I saw him yesterday. It's like, hey, man, you got to get on. You got to get on. You got to start exercising again. I was not preaching that out. If anything, man, I was talking about the other stuff, some of the projects I've gotten involved with the high school students and with the drag racing out east and stuff like that. How'd that happen? I did tell him I felt good about myself. And I spit out ideas. And next thing you know, and then I volunteered, spit out ideas about, if there was a motorsports park here, what that would mean, and blah, blah, stayed involved. And then I had the confidence. And maybe that's what got him there. I had the confidence to volunteer for something that I never did before, that announcing thing. I've never done that before. I've been on a microphone before. Okay. I've emceed walks, I've given talks, I've done that, panel discussions, all the rest of that kind of stuff. But to actually announce a sporting event, and it is a sporting event. It's like, don't know. So maybe that's what I told him that kind of got him going. Or in fact that he saw me running and the rest of that stuff. And I told him I was only doing one lap around the neighborhood, 2 miles, that kind of thing. It was like I said, over 60, 61 to be exact. Running half marathons and stuff like that. I have not done a half marathon in a while. Not in a while. In fact, the last thing I did run that was big was actually a full marathon. It was New York City Marathon, and that was could be 6-7 years ago. So maybe a little bit more than that. I know I was in my mid-50s or so at that point in time. It's on video. It's on video. It's on Facebook someplace. And I wonder how many people saw that and said, man, if that guy could do it, why can't I? And maybe that's what this guy said. Hey, you know what? If he could go run the neighborhood, I could ride my bike. And that's what I did, ride my bike, once or twice around. He's right. So what impact do you have on other people by those words you say, those actions you take, but just even body language? You're not even meaning anything. So many things. Most impactful thing that really truly got to me was after a humorous speech I gave, and I socked him. It was bad, the whole thing, but I tied it in with a message. And one guy came up to me, he goes, "Ah, man, I understood what you were talking about. That was a good speech." Oh, I was like pissed, so pissed, because I wasn't looking to give a good speech. I was looking to give a humorous speech, and I missed the point. He got the point. We're all made up of a lot of different things, and together we could grow into something great. That was the message. But you want to know something? I didn't even hear my own message, because when he came up to me afterwards and he said, I understood what you were talking about. I think it's a great idea. I just blew that off. I didn't allow that person to positively impact me at that time. It took me a few days, really looking back on it, because that was memorable. Him coming up to me was memorable. My screwing up was memorable too. How I got my one laugh was memorable also. But what he said to me was more impactful than anything else that entire day. That's the biggest thing I remember that day. Biggest thing. That and the one laugh. See, you know what he guilted me into is paying attention. Really, truly paying attention to the audience, not me. I was so enwrapped in me that I missed the point of the message that I was delivering. I was delivering. Hey, maybe I'm not a funny guy. I know I've been on a comedy stage before and stuff like that, but you want to know something? Funny? No. Humorous? Yeah, I got my moments, in there. Improv better on that kind of thing than in fact, I never gave a routine speech. In other words, practiced it out, had my 8 minutes, knew what I was going to say the whole way through. Every time I got on stage, it never went that way. I had envisions of it going that way. Never went that way. First time up, I was so nervous, I forgot the whole darn thing, and it just went, made fun of the moment. That was funny. Brought props with me, forgot they were even there. That was it. That was it. But that one guy really guilted me, we'll say, into figuring out what is most important. That is the audience. It's always the audience. Doug, good afternoon to you. Doug is right. Doug is right. Doug, you didn't say anything yet. Well, except for hello. Hello to you. But, Doug and I gave a speech, and we knew at that one speech we gave, it was as a medical, it was to a number of students, PTs, OTs, etc. Definitely want to chat with you about that too, by the way. And it was all about the audience. It was. That was all about it. It was a perfect. That was a perfect presentation. I think it was a totally perfect presentation. And it's another one of these things is you don't know the impact you're going to have. Luckily, and I say luckily because a lot of times we don't get feedback in a manner that we want. Oh, does that sound selfish, right? But if you were intentionally giving a presentation someplace, intentionally giving a performance, you want feedback. Now, if you're giving a performance, you sing a song someplace, you read a poem, you do a dance, you do something where there's a start, there's a finish to it, and you're leaving on, when you end it, you're ending on that crescendo. You get a round of applause, maybe you get a standing ovation, even better, and stuff like that. Presentation we gave, a lot of the presentations that I give, I'm not ending on a high note. I'm ending on a note that makes you think. Even these things, I think if you go back and take a look, but I want you to think about how you're impacting people without even knowing you're impacting people over here. Right. And a lot of times that is mostly the messages, that are delivered out there. Other times it's how you can better yourself by paying attention to you. That's the high school student presentation. I get there differently. It all depends upon situations, but ultimately it comes down to speaking to the student, what are you really good at? What is it that you really, really want to do? What is it that comes naturally to you? What is it that you do when nobody else is looking? Could use that for the integrity or there too. When you have all the free time in the world and you can just do whatever it is, something, that's when you really figure out what you should be doing the rest of that stuff. And then you impact others because they see that you're truly enjoying what you're doing. They see the impact that you're having with different people. And a very good motivational speaker or a very good speaker will actually get that point across without telling you they're getting that point across. Because you're like, wow, what if I could do that? It comes so naturally to them. Oh, it must be, boy, I heard this about a group of people. It was crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. It was had to do with a low income community, and it was I heard it on the sides. I can't quote anything or anything like that. But it's like, if you're around a mixture of people, and why not gravitate toward the more successful? But what is the more successful? In the moment, more successful, or long term, more successful? A lot of times, long term, more successful, just not as exciting, not outwardly as exciting. I think internally it becomes exciting. Look, that speech that Doug said that speech that Doug and I gave, and I definitely want to get your comment over there about the crowd. But the speech that Doug and I gave with Glenn Campbell, who's since passed, that presentation was not a rousing speech. I mean, that was all about real, honest emotions, real situations. So if you look at it, if you walked into that room, you're just going to see three people on stage talking, not running around talking, not rah rah talking, but just talking. You're going to see students sitting there, some with notepads, some not, watching, listening. It's quiet. Does that mean it's not impactful? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Man, yes, Doug rolled. Yeah, Doug and Glenn on wheelchairs. Doug rolled. And does that mean it was not impactful because it wasn't rah-rah? Because we didn't get a standing ovation? We didn't get a big round of applause? I don't remember if they did applaud or not, whatever. But, it's like at an end of a rock star performance. Uh, yeah, at the end of a performance. Yeah. I think some of the most amazing things that we do, that we deliver when we're speaking to other people, are those quiet conversations, the little one-off conversations, the little tidbits of information when we make people think about what it is. And hey, Doug, we'll use your, let's stick your walking overrated comment up over there. So Doug's in a wheelchair. Doug's been in a wheelchair all of his life. So if you don't know, Doug King, Wheels in Motion, is the website to go to for that one. Doug is a unbelievable guy. He really is. Really, truly unbelievable person. So Doug brought a few things to my attention that I knew. No, I didn't. Definitely did not. It was seeing things through other people's eyes, and what it is they're going through. But it was the one-on-one. It was a little quiet conversations. And Doug and I had been on Donna Drake's show. We did a presentation years ago, and that was a whole lot of fun. And Doug, thanks for that one. And Donna, thank you also for that one. And but it wasn't a big presentations. Maybe they help with the awareness and the rest of that stuff. But it's the reality, I think, and those smaller conversations that really make the difference and really can be more impactful than anything else. Look, I gave that presentation on stage for 150 people. How did I impact? One person. One person. Who did he impact when he came up to me? One person. We both did the same thing. We impacted one person. He was smarter than I was. I had to speak to 150 people to get to one. He spoke to one to get to one. Smart man. Smart man. It's the one-on-ones. So Doug is explaining to me what it's like to live in a wheelchair. Not what it's like to be in a wheelchair, what it's like to live in a wheelchair. All the aspects of it. Didn't know. Didn't think about all those little things, challenges that come up. Like, and the one I use the most over here, it's visual. And this is something I ask you to do, right? Put yourself into Doug's wheels. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. Now, when you are going to a store after you park your car, we'll give you the get out of your car. All right. But if you get out of your car and you're going across that parking lot, take a look down. How many potholes are there? Yeah. And not potholes for your car. I'm talking potholes for a wheelchair. They could be a lot smaller and be a lot more impactful. Then you get up on that curb. How'd you get up on that curb? You picked your foot up to get up on that curb, right? Yeah. How far up did you have to pick up your foot? You walked up a 4-inch curve? Hey, wheelchair's not going to do that. 2 inches? It depends on center of gravity, all the rest of that kind of stuff. A smooth transition? Now you're talking. Now you're talking. Those kinds of things. Pay attention to that. Next time you go to the bathroom, see how much room is in that bathroom for you to spin around. You're in a wheelchair. Maneuver out of the wheelchair. Yeah. Take a look. Take a look. It's going to make you think about things quite a bit differently for those that are in wheelchairs. And I'm just using that as the example over here. But it could be somebody using crutches. It could be any one of 1,000,001 different things, right? Any one of 1,000,001 different things. That we learn by actually speaking to somebody going through different things. So there is the there's the factor with it. But that's what I mean. And this is the one thing I really want to tell you. You guilted me into it. You know what? We do that. We do that without even knowing it. And it's not mean or anything like that. It's by sharing your story, sharing some of the challenges that you've gone through, sharing some of the successes. I didn't even know I was sharing anything by running. It wasn't that much of a thing. You know, for me, it was nothing. I used to run. I used to run all this. For him, I don't know. Maybe he looked at it differently than I did. Maybe Doug looks at being in a wheelchair differently than I do. I know he did prior to me meeting him and even thinking about that stuff. I know he did. So the I'm guilty of or guilting people into things. You know something? You do it a lot. Your brand will tie it into that. Big thing. Big thing. All right, Doug. So you know something? We were talking about, connecting with audiences, large, small, all the rest of that stuff, guilting people into things. You know what? Do it. Do it. Don't, you're not doing things in a negative way here. And you thought I was going to go down that path. No. I'm thinking about it though, going down that path. Going down that path, you know, of how we're being led and how we lead other people. Not really crazy about a lot of stuff that's going on in this world right now. Our country can definitely be better. There's a lot of things that definitely can be better. Now, what could we do in order to better that? Well, since most of us are individual citizens, is I was going to say there's very little we can do, and that would be totally wrong from what I'm talking about, wouldn't it? See, there's a lot of things that we could do. We could lead by example. That's right. We could just do by example. Not a running thing. We're just doing. I wasn't leading anybody. We were just doing. You just didn't know the impact of the whole thing. Those comments that go out over there that you put up on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. I still have yet to figure out this TikTok thing, as to why. I just may dump a few videos on there just to see, but I don't know. So far, I don't know. Just another place for videos. I think I'm just going to stick with YouTube on that one. So we'll go figure that. So I guess that's at the brand renegade. I don't know how much of a renegade I really want to be, but working on the branding thing, we keep going with that. You'll see that behind me over here as that continues to progress, and it will. I just opted to go for a run today instead of working on the back wall here, as that goes. But you know what? We do have an impact on other people much more than we can imagine. Much more than we see. I'll go back to that Toastmaster thing, right? And I was listening to his speech, and then I was asked to be the conference chair. But the speech I was listening to was given by somebody, one of our district officers or regional officer or whatever. I have no idea what her name was, anything like that. And thinking about it, I don't even know if it was a woman or a man or whatever. But you want to know something? That person said that we're like a boat. I was like, okay, here we go. We're like a boat. We're like a boat going through water. All right, a boat going through water. Visualize that. You're a boat. You're a boat. And when you're in that boat and you're looking at the front, you see those things that are in front of you. They're clearly in front of you. You could clearly see what you're impacting in front of you. Throw in the peripheral vision. You could mostly see, and if you're boating, you really should see, all right? You peripheral vision, you will see what you're impacting on the sides of you. But if you're in that boat, especially if you're cruising along, what are you impacting behind you? There's a wake going behind you. And as you move forward, that wake stays behind you. And that wake is hitting the sides. It's hitting other boats that are docked, that are running. It's hitting maybe people swimming in the water, in the bay. And then you're kicking up the bottom. You're hitting a lot of things behind you, but you don't see it. And that was the most impactful part of that whole thing. We know what's in front of us. We know what we impact in front of us. We most likely see what we have in front on the sides of us. Not sure what goes on behind us. And Doug, to tie this back in over here about knowing your audience, knowing the crowd, You're right. You got to feel out the crowd before coming onto the stage. That's one thing I learned about when I took that announcing school thing, without a doubt. And here, yeah, we are graders in numbers, but we're sorry about what others think. Yeah, you know what? And that is somewhat of an issue, right? And you want to know something? Maybe we should be a little less vocal on this social media thing about opinions, because there's always somebody out there that just wants to rip it apart, no matter what it is. Like that post about a rock. Someone say, "Hey, I'm posting it. This picture. I'm sure someone will disagree with it. It's just a rock." All right, people pick fights on anything. So you know something? We are graders in number, in action, in positive action, in what it is that we do. All right, and you are 100% correct there about feeling out about getting to know who's in the crowd before you do get on stage and make any kind of a presentation. But we should be leading by example. I venture to say that most of us in this world are good people. They want to better the scenario that they're in, make the best of whatever that situation is that we are in. Hey, look, the rich want to get richer. Okay. Should they do those, they want to continue to build things? Are there people taking advantage of people? Yeah, absolutely. And the rest of that stuff. The low income people, are they looking, to better themselves? I would venture to say yes, you know, just to get into a better situation, raise a family in a stable, growing environment in a safe neighborhood. Safe neighborhood. What the heck even is a safe neighborhood today? It's crazy. These school shootings, these school shootings are terrible. You send your kid to school to learn, not to learn how to duck. July 4th parade? Oh my gosh, the mall, cruise ship. How many different examples of things we got with these rumbles, fights, gunshots, people dying, getting killed? Innocent people get killed is wrong. Wrong. But what about those people that are doing the right thing? Doing the right thing. Not talking about doing the right thing, but actually doing the right thing. What about those stories? What about those actions? What about those people? Right? So it's not so much as about protesting. I mean, look, we all have the right to protest. We definitely do, the rest of that stuff. But I think we have more of an obligation to find solutions, real solutions to different issues, whatever they may be, real solutions. And that, my friends, will really, really change a whole lot of things. So you want to know something, Doug? Let's go back with your audience over here, right? Feel out the crowd when coming into the room or stage. Well, what if we felt out the crowd of the citizens? Oh, only got 10 seconds left for this one, folks. But what if we really paid attention to the vast majority of everybody? What if we really paid attention to those Americans and those that are here in the country legally? I've got a somewhat of an issue with the illegal crowd. We definitely need to fix that, but we got to fix it. We got to come up with solutions, but just say, oh, it's bad. But we got to come up with a solution. But what if we really paid attention to the vast majority of people that are somewhere in the middle, not extremists on any side, but somewhere in the middle, that really want to help this country move forward and continue to move, or to get back moving in the right direction? Those are the people I want to hear from. Those are the people I want to see what they're doing. Those are the people that want to be, that'll guilt us into finding the positives and finding the opportunities. That's what we really want to do. So let's do that as that comes about. All right, so that's it. Hey, Kathy Jones from San Diego, California. Kathy, I'm going to use your time zone thing here because I'm now a minute late. So we'll go 3 minutes late, and then I know it's 3 hours, 3 minutes, whatever. It's all one and the same, as that goes. But there's a lot of things that we could be doing better. So here's my thought process for the day. Is that one, people are watching you. You may not know it, but they are. They see you. They see what you are doing. They see the effort you put into something, or at least the outward effort you put into something. They may not see all the behind the scenes stuff, all the little nitty gritty things that you do, but they'll see. They'll see. So make sure that image, your brand that you're putting out, is the best that it possibly can be. And if it's something that needs to be improved on, do what you can to improve upon it. That's one. Two, too. I would love to see, really truly love to see some news channel, some way of communicating. And this goes into why I was asking about that to our 20 and 30-year olds. Like, where do they get their news from? Where do they get the information from? How do you reach out to these people? It turns out podcasts seem to be the number one answer of people I polled, which is not exactly thousands of people, but podcasts. Interesting. YouTube videos, things like that. Everything online. So online. So I will put the challenge out there. If you are doing the something where you can share it and share it online, share it online. That's where they're watching that's where they see things. That's where it's all about. But probably the most important thing is actually be true to yourself. Find the confidence to really truly be you. Listen to what I tell those high school students. I know I'm trying to listen to that more and more myself, but really focusing in on those things that come naturally to you, things that you would really like to do. See if you could build a job, a career, a business, even if it's an effort, a project out of that kind of thing. People will see that, and you will motivate people in a very unique and different way. And they may be in your wake, and you'll never see it, but you just might have a positive impact on this society in a way that could be super impactful and will multiply, and you will never know. So, yeah, strength is in numbers, Doug. You're 100% correct like that. And it does start by one person, and that one person could be you. 3 minutes, 38 seconds, Kathy. Figure those 333s. Oh, well, that was for you in the time zone thing. So enjoy San Diego. Who knows? Who knows what is possible throughout this world? We just keep spreading the message. All right, my friends, speak well, speak often, live inspired. You just might inspire somebody else to do exactly the same.